Hello everyone, welcome back to Review and Rate. Today, we're entering into a world of snipers and traitors. That's right, we are going to wear our night vision goggles and snipe bad guys at night to talk about Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, a game developed by City Interactive and released in 2013. If you're a fan of weak gameplay, bad graphics, and terrible stories, you won't want to miss this review. Now, let's witness a massacre and get ready to enter the world of Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 is an improvement over the first game in many ways, but despite those changes, the gameplay is still not very good, and at times, it's outright terrible. I do appreciate the effort here though, because this entry clearly shows the series trying to move in the right direction. Sniper kills are better than in the first game. For the first time in the series, I could actually feel some level of satisfaction when landing good shots, something I never felt before. However, that satisfaction doesn't last long. Mission after mission, the kills start to feel repetitive and boring, and any excitement quickly fades. Enemies still die like paper, and somehow it's even worse here. Unlike the first game, enemies don't make any sound when they die, which makes kills feel lifeless and unsatisfying. It's hard to feel rewarded when enemies drop silently with no reaction at all. Stealth kills have been added, which is a great idea. You can now sneak up behind enemies and take them down silently, but sadly this also feels awkward. The animations look stiff and strange, enemies don't react naturally, and again, the lack of sound completely kills the impact of these takedowns. Instead of feeling cool, they often look ridiculous. Like the first game, weapon variety is extremely limited. You mostly stick with a sniper rifle, a pistol, and a knife, no throwing knives this time. That said, one major improvement is that assault rifle missions are gone. Every mission now focuses on sniping, which is exactly what a game called Sniper Ghost Warrior should be about. A stealth indicator has been added, which helps improve stealth slightly, but not by much. Enemies can still detect you very easily at times, even when you feel like you're playing carefully. You can also create distractions to avoid detection, but these are only available in specific moments when the game allows it, which removes player freedom and makes stealth feel scripted rather than natural. The HUD have been improved and is much clearer now. Ammo types are properly separated, so numbers no longer overlap like they did in the first game, making it easier to track what you actually have. Friendly AI is also better this time. Teammates can actually help by shooting enemies, unlike the completely useless AI in the first game that often stood around doing nothing. Sniper build camera scenes look much better visually, but they still fail to feel truly satisfying. Just like the rest of the combat, they look nice at first but quickly lose their impact. Now for the biggest problems. Sometimes for no clear reason, the game simply doesn't let you shoot. This happened multiple times and directly caused me to die, which is incredibly frustrating in a sniper-focused game. Combat is also extremely unforgiving once you're detected. Enemies can kill you very quickly, sometimes almost instantly, making any small mistake feel punishing rather than challenging. Getting spotted often means you're already dead, and unlike the first game, you can no longer save manually. You're forced to rely entirely on checkpoints, and unfortunately, the checkpoint system is terrible. Poor checkpoint placement leads to constant frustration and repeated sections, which make the experience even more annoying. Now, let's talk about the story. The story of Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 is really bad. You can tell the developers actually tried to tell a story this time, unlike the first game, but unfortunately, the effort doesn't pay off at all. The dialogue between characters is dull, awkward, and often downright stupid. Conversations drag on without adding anything meaningful, and the supposed twists and villains fail to leave any impact. Nothing here feels interesting, memorable, or worth paying attention to. At its core, the story is still the same as the first game. You're the good guy killing bad guys. The only difference is that this time the game pretends there's a deeper narrative behind it, but simply doesn't work. The writing isn't strong enough to support it, and I never once cared about the main character or his friend. Instead of enhancing the experience, the story feels like filler, something you're forced to sit through between missions rather than something that pulls you in. It's poorly written, unengaging, and forgettable, making it one of the weakest parts of the game. Now, let's talk about the graphics. The graphics in Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 are slightly better than the first game, but they are still bad, especially considering the game was released in 2013. While there is some improvement, it's minimal and nowhere near enough to justify how dated everything looks. The environments, characters, and enemies do look a bit better than before, but the difference is barely noticeable. Even when playing on the highest graphics settings, the game still looks low quality across the board. Textures are flat, lighting is weak, and many areas feel empty and lifeless. Character models are especially rough. Faces look awkward and ugly, animations feel stiff, and nothing about the characters looks convincing or polished. It's hard to take anything seriously when everyone looks this bad. The cutscenes don't help either. They look cheap, poorly animated, and visually unimpressive, which makes the already weak story feel even worse. Now let's get to the sound. The sound design in Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 is pretty decent. It's not anything amazing, but it's a small improvement over the first game, which I do appreciate. Environmental sounds, enemy noises, and voice acting are mostly what you would expect. They get the job done, but nothing really stands out or leaves a strong impression. It all feels very familiar and safe, almost identical to the first game. What actually makes the audio better this time around is the soundtrack. The music is noticeably improved and is honestly the best part of the audio experience. Some of the tracks are strong enough that I wouldn't mind listening to them again outside the game, which is more than I can say about most of the sound design here. Here, listen to these soundtracks. Now let's get to the final section, the replayability. When it comes to replayability, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 offers almost nothing of real value. Even the few options that exist either don't work properly or simply aren't worth coming back for. There is a multiplayer mode, but just like the first game, it's completely dead with no active players, making it essentially unplayable. Other than that, there really isn't much else. You can replay the campaign on higher difficulties, but since I didn't find the gameplay very enjoyable in the first place, there is no real motivation to do so. Replaying the same missions again only highlights the game's flaws rather than making the experience better. So now let's summarize everything with my overall impression. Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 delivers terrible gameplay, a weak and forgettable story, poor graphics, decent sound design, and almost no meaningful replayability. While I do appreciate the improvements it makes over the first game, especially in presentation and audio, it's still far from being a good or even average sniper or shooter experience. The core gameplay remains frustrating, repetitive, and poorly designed, which ultimately overshadows any progress the developers tried to make. Because of that, it earns a slightly better score than the first game, but not by much. This is still a very disappointing experience overall, so here's the score. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful review videos. Feel free to share your thoughts on whether the points I've raised resonate with you or if you have a different perspective. And leave your suggestions in the comments about which game you'd like to see reviewed next. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you all for watching.